Good morning, my name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about how to inject humor into your writing. How do you make your writing funny? It's easier than I expected, so I struggled with this for a long time, and I was kind of looking for what is a good recipe to add humor. Like, how do you write funny? Because that is such an important part of what we do as authors, especially with the rise of like the Marvel movies, for example. We've gotten to a point where one of the ways that tension is broken up in modern cinema is humor. And the one-liners are reaching a point where often they're really funny and they stick with the audience for a long time afterwards. And we're kind of being held to the same standard. So what is a quick tip? What is a way that you can inject humor into your writing? And what I found was a comedy course online that I ended up taking, and I'll link that in the description of the video. It's just some free videos on YouTube that you can watch. But what they taught me in a nutshell is you are building up a pattern in somebody's mind. So you're teaching them, a situation, a story, okay, A, and then you tell them B, and so in their brain, they're automatically expecting C. And what you're going to do instead is you're going to give them a J. So you give them an A and a B, you're establishing a pattern. They expect a C. Instead, you defy their expectations and you give them something. And what happens is in that moment, they realize this is not the pattern I was expecting. Oh, it's this pattern instead, and here's why it's that pattern. That's funny. So in practice, one of the examples that I can think of is in Firefly. There's an episode where they're doing the traditional, the captain is going to go in by himself and he wants everybody else to wait behind. And so one of the people says to him, oh, so you want us to stay behind if you get captured, right? And just let you go and get out of here? And he's like, no, come rescue me. It's funny because we've seen the situation so many times where Captain Kirk would go down there by himself and, do whatever it took to sacrifice himself to spare his crew. And so we're used to that nobility in a captain. And so when you see Mal in Firefly doing the opposite, the exact opposite, and saying, no, I want you guys to risk yourselves and save my butt, it's not what we expect, but it fits Mal's character, and that is why it's funny. So when you are trying to make something funny, establish a pattern, and then change the expectations. So your punchline is where you are suddenly turning everything on its head, and you're making it be a little bit different than what your audience was expecting. And it's important that your audience understand and appreciate the way in which this has changed. This is why certain groups will find a joke funny and others may not. So puns. Some people really like puns, verbal puns. Other people do not. It really drives them nuts. They think puns are stupid. So you do want to know your audience and the pattern that you were establishing, how you were trying to make it be funny, matters based on the audience in question. So here is a homework assignment, if you will. I would recommend picking 5 forms of media. These can be television shows, they can be novels, they can be cartoons, they can be movies, they can be whatever you want them to be, your story format of choice. I want you to go to 5 of them that you consider to be funny. And then watch a comedic situation all the way through, stop it, and rewind it and watch it again and see if you can come up with a pattern, the A, and then the B, and now suddenly it's J. See if you can track how that is happening in a given stone, or in a given stone, in a given scene. I was thinking Romancing the Stone. So pick a movie that is enjoyable and has a lot of humor in it, or another novel if you prefer, an audiobook, whatever you listen to, and try to figure out why. And what I have found, having done this sort of analysis a lot in the last 12 months, is that you're always going to find the same thing. You're building that pattern, and then you're breaking it in a funny way that resonates with the audience. So hopefully this is useful. Humor is enormously difficult to write well, but this template has gotten me closer and gotten better jokes and better comedic writing in my novels than anything else I've learned about comedy. And if you want to know more, again, I am linking to that video series in the comments that will give you kind of the same joke course. It was for stand-up comedy that I took. And that was another good starting point. So anyway, hopefully this video is useful, guys. I do need to get back to the writing. I'm almost done with Crocs Rises, and I'm having a lot of fun with this ending. It's lots of big fireworks deep into my series. Anyway, guys, I will see you next week.